So let's take a look at Google Maps. Maybe not a Google tool that you would have thought about using in your classroom, although there are some good uses for it in your classroom, but also want to review this tool with you because it is on the Level 2 exam. So you can get to Google Maps just by searching Google Maps, or with any Google tool, you can put in maps.google.com and it will take you to your map home screen. So it's automatically going to know where you are located and take you to that region. So I'm at home today, so it's taking me to a map view of things close by. So let's just take a look real quickly at some of the viewing options that you have for Google Maps. So this is just a map view. You also have the option for a satellite view, so you can get the satellite images that Google has taken. And then you also have the option for a terrain view. So it will give you some of the topography of the area that you are looking at. So you have all of those options. I'm going to go back to just the regular map view. And I want to show you some of the other options that you also have. So you have the option then, if you would like, to turn on traffic information. So it will give you information on some of the major roads about traffic. If there are public transit in the area, you can turn on information about public transit. If there are bicycle routes in the area, you can turn that information on. You can do street view, which we're going to look at in the next section. Then you also have some notifications and sharing options. You could print maps that you made, so you have those options as well. You also have an option here at the bottom where you can show imagery of areas around you. So if I click on this, it's actually going to bring up a lot of pictures that have been taken on roads and streets near where I live. And if I hover over one of these, you'll notice that it actually points to the map and shows me where that particular picture was taken on the map. So just a few of the features that you have. You can zoom in, you can zoom out, you can type in a very specific location that you want to be taken to. So lots of options just for generally looking at different parts of Google Maps. Next, we're going to take a look at Street View and how to look at those photos that are in Google Maps. So let's take a look at Street View and photos that you can find in Google Maps. So I have kind of zoomed in to Murray. That way I know that I've got some street views and locations, because living out where I do, there's not a whole lot there. And so I'm going to go to my menu and I'm going to click on Street View. And you'll notice immediately that all the streets that you can do a street view for turn blue. So what happens then is I can click on any place along the street view and I'm going to be able to see that view. Also, you will notice that on the map you will see these dots, and these are photospheres. So these are specific photos that have been taken at locations around the area of Murray. So a couple of things that you can do. So you've got this little dude here, and so it lets you browse the street view images. So you can actually pull him around and dangle him around, and anywhere that there is one of the photospheres, you can drop him there, and it will take you to wherever you drop him. So I can then see I'm at the peach blossom, and I can do a kind of 360 and I can see that picture. Go back out to my map. I'm going to do street view again, and I can drag him, and I'm going to put him on this dot here and drop him in, and I'm in the middle of the Murray State football field, and so you can do a 360 and you can see that. And so anywhere that there is a street view or anywhere that there is a sphere, you can drop in and take a look at those. And you don't even have to go in and turn it on. When you start dragging this little man around, it automatically brings up that street view, and you just hold him over the little circle and it will drop you into that street. So now I'm at the Arboretum, Or if I want to go again to a street view, I can drag here and I can pick the place that I want to go. So if I want to go back down, drag to this intersection, and so you can kind of see where you are. So you can plop your little guy in at any location and kind of see those street views. So what might be nice about this to use in your classroom is if you were talking about a certain location in a novel that you were reading, if you were talking about a certain location in social studies class. You could go to Google Maps and you could drag your little friend around and drop him into street view locations, and you would be able to take a look at those and the satellite images of those. So Street View and Photosphere is a good way to kind of get a ground view of your surroundings. So probably the main thing that most of us use Google Maps for is actually doing driving directions or walking directions to a location, and that's actually what you're going to be tested over on level 2. So if you want to get directions to a place, you're going to click up here where it says directions. You're going to choose your starting point. So let's say I want to take a little tour of Florida. I'm going to start out in Jacksonville, Florida. And then let's say that I want my next location to be Tampa. And then I'm going to add, so right now it pulls up and it gives me driving directions from Jacksonville to Tampa. Well, let's say I want to add another destination. I'm going to click on this plus. Let's say I want to go now to Miami. And then let's add another destination. I'm going to then stop by Orlando. And then I'm going to go to Fort Myers. So I'm going to add one more location. So you can see my map plots out my route. It added a location each time I put it in here, and it gives me the driving directions. Okay. Well, the other thing that you can do is once you start plotting out your trip, you can, of course, look at these are the driving directions. How long would it take to walk, to bike, other options. Also, let's say I decide, oh, I want to go instead of Jacksonville to Tampa to Miami, kind of the route that I've got, I want to change it up. I actually want to go from Jacksonville to Orlando. So I can take this Orlando spot over here and I can actually drag it up to where I want it to go. And so now I'm going from Jacksonville to Orlando to Tampa to Fort Myers, or I'm sorry, to Miami and then to Fort Myers. Maybe I want to go instead, so I can always change this around as well, and I can get my driving directions. So you can actually put in directions and then you can drag them around and change them to change the route. And you can see how far you're going to go and kind of the route that you're going to take. And then you can get your directions just by clicking on them here, and then you get the details. So from Jacksonville to Orlando to Tampa to Fort Myers, and then Miami being your final stop. If you then want to share these directions or email these directions, you have a couple of options. So I can go to my menu and I can hit share or embed map, and I can copy this link, and then I could email this link, or I could put it in a Google site, or I could get it out to whoever I want to. So I could easily copy that link and email it out. You also can click on the directions and then click on the share button, and it will take you to the same location where you can copy that link. So just make sure for this portion that you are able to map out a route, drag the different locations around to change that route, and then actually email a link to those directions to someone. So that's basically it for getting driving directions in Google Maps.